Yeah, welcome everyone. I head over to Christian very easily.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to start with what I did the last week. I had not much time to do things. Job Center was calling. And yeah, I managed to use INDI client on my laptop with several cameras. They are connecting to the INDI server pretty well. Then I tried to have the same on the Pi that we want to use as a video buffer. And I run into issues with StellarMate OS because of version conflicts between Pi 2, Pi 3, and SWIG. This is a hardware layer written in C to connect to cameras that upload firmware. And I couldn't figure out what is the problem there, but I have to try out different Pi OS versions. So that's basically it, what I did last week and what I will do next week. So, Bojan, what about you?
Yep. Okay, I'm working on. Hold on. There I am. Okay, I'm working on a test setup for enclosure. The only for three we're gonna use for test setup 3DHT22. This is, I'm certain, for that one, for airflow and for thermistors on a heatsink on a Peltiers. I'm not sure yet, so I'm waiting to receive the TNC 4.1 so I can check it out how this works. So the only I'm sure we're gonna use, and we're gonna use in a final project, DHT22. The most important thing we have like a development mode. We're gonna use 3 sensors: temperature and moisture and relative humidity sensor. We are going to use one airflow sensor, and we're gonna use 4 the thermistors on a heatsink, on a hot side, on a Peltiers. So this is development mode. On a working mode, we're gonna use only one DHT22 inside the enclosure. The question is where we can place it. This is it. So we must distinguish development mode and a working mode. So this is very important. The working mode must be very simple, but after the development, after we see how all this thing works, airflow and stuff like that. So this is all about. Actually, the most important stuff for climate control, we're gonna use TNC 4.1. This is lots powerful and better than, even though you can't find TNC 3.6 anymore very easy. So, and also TNC 4.1 is very cheap, $24 or something like that. So we go forward with this one.
Yeah, the beauty about the TNCs is they provide 3 form factors depending on the number of pins, and the 3.6 and the 4.1 has the same number of pins, so they can be just took off and the other one put on, and the software is nearly the same. So this is one advantage we talked about last week, Bojan and me, about using the 4.1, and we set up a little policy like that. Just use the latest version of things.
Yeah.
Because they will be available much longer than the older ones. Okay. Yeah. Who's next? Brett?
So not a lot from me this week. I spent most of the time printing. I've gotten the prototype Peltier mounting setup done. I'm going to have to make a few modifications to it before I make George and Bojan setup. I have my candidate heat sinks in there. They fit very well. This particular model is a pinned heat sink, like octagonal pins, does very, very well. It doesn't get hot at all, at room temperature at least. I haven't cut the aluminum blocks yet. I have to go to Home Depot and get a new blade. So I don't have the right cold side heatsink in here, but initial tests are very promising. So George and Boyan, how I'm going to set this up. So I know our plan was to source our own heat sinks. That way the three of us could trial a bunch of different possible candidates without having to buy $100 worth of heat sinks a piece and then find out that they're not going to be used. So I've created blanks, little blank insert that can snap in. So we can start with testing the setup with one active heatsink with a quarter power applied to it, so 36 watts. And then if we decide that one of our candidate heatsinks is what we want to use, we can just knock out the blanks and then fill everything up. So I am going to have this assembled and tested for the very first time, hopefully this afternoon. I'm still printing a couple parts, and I need to cut those aluminum blocks, but otherwise, slowly but surely. Now, Boyan, we had some questions about the heatsink thermistor you were using. It was 2.5 millimeters wide or diameter. What was that? The heatsink temperature sensor that you were going to use?
Like about 2 millimeters in the diameter.
Were you going to put that on the hot side and the cold side?
No, only on a hot side. Okay. Why? Because the main thing, outside heatsink cannot exceed 120 degrees.
Oh God, I hope not.
So 135 degrees is maximum for Peltier element. After that, you're gonna destroy Peltier element, because this is actually Peltier element is semiconductor device. Is made from many diodes, and then 135 degrees is max. So we're gonna just this thermistor, we're gonna monitor the temperature. Also, this thermistors will be on a hot side to monitor what's going on a hot side temperature wise, and some kind of protection. 120 degrees, we're gonna cut out the system completely. So this is only in a development mode. We will see later on. Maybe we can leave these thermistors, because this is very cheap. I found like a $12, 12 pieces of these thermistors on Amazon, like a $7, which is very cheap, So
how deep does the channel need to be? How deep does the hole need to be?
This is like a drop. Let's say 2-3 millimeters, no more than that.
Okay, I can make that work with this.
Think of it like you use the nozzles from the 3D printer have aluminium blocks, and think of one of them. They are about, let's say, 3 to 4 millimeters.
Like a head on matching, matches.
Yeah, I can make this work with that setup.
Absolutely, no problem. And you can cover with JB Weld or whatever, just this is no problem.
My concern was on the cold side, because I don't have that big of a base on the cold side heatsink. It's only like 4 millimeters, and I'm not good enough to drill a 2 millimeter hole in a 4 millimeter block of aluminum. So, yeah.
You see, cold side, actually, you're talking about inside the channel.
Yeah.
Can be hot, can be cold, So actually, the energy on a hot side is twice as much. Speaking about the Peltier, is twice as much than on a cold side.
Can be,
what I'm saying? Yeah. So we need to take care about it. So
it has to be 2.6 times.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we can make this work.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
Rebecca.
Yeah, for the GUI part.
For the GUI part, I went ahead and worked through ClickUp to set up different assignments for different portions of the GUI. For example, for the PTZ camera, for the WitMotion device, other items as well. I also added a section where we'll do user documentation. So that way, I think it's very important when someone works on building part of the GUI, that whatever functionality that they're building, that they also make a comment in a user manual. So that way the users will know what it is and what it does, and even possibly how they can modify it. Also, I added into the into the user documentation section a request, for developers to label, use variable names that accurately describe what it is that variable does, or that function does, or what that class does. So that way, future users will be able to read the code easily and modify it if they need to.
Yeah, that's a very good thought about the documentation thing. Yeah, not everybody is as disciplined as that to do that. Yeah, that's good work.
Perfect. So, anything else,
Yeah.
Rebecca, you want to add? Did I lose her, or
No,
Rebecca? You're
don't
still
know.
there?
Those her mic's mute.
Yeah.
Ah, she's muted. Okay.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay. Well, I did find some documentation about the WitMotion device. I'm not really familiar with what that is. I'm not a physics person, but I found some online documentation for a developer API where we can work with that device directly.
Okay. Some
Super
disturbance in her microphone.
So it's not only me not hearing her.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I don't know where I left off, but yes, with the WitMotion device, I found some developer code, and so we can use that to transmit the information directly to the GUI, and that's what I've done so far.
Yeah, and we talked about having a connection to a direct connection to the WebSockets. So that we can stream with INDI directly, and we do not have to use OBS Studio for getting the video to the web.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was a very successful week for you.
Thank you.
And may I add at that point, Rebecca, you probably have seen my list of user interface elements, the data elements Excel file. Did you see that?
Yes, I did actually. I did take a look at that. Thank you. And I'm going to add that into ClickUp, so that way we have that information as well. Yes.
Okay, so I just started it. It's please, if you want to change things, please do as appropriate. If you need more information, let's say I only have 4 columns, kind of. So change as to your need, I want to say.
Okay, thank you. And I did want to add that I think are there other developers on ClickUp, the other software?
Not yet. Yannick mentioned that he wants to join. He got his invitation email today, but no one else showed up till now. And we thought that we keep the ClickUp stuff to the team leaders and the most contributing developers. Because if we run every developer in it, it might get mixed up. But the team leaders who are in charge of the teams, they should be there, and the others, I think it's depending on what they do.
Okay, got it.
So I think five accounts are now on ClickUp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
Hey,
this
Brad,
is.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I think
He's
he's
not
away
here.
for collecting something.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Think this is about it for the briefing. We can go over to the discussion section right now. Richard, what was the first topic?
I have some topics for the open discussion. I just give it without an order. We should talk about the user interface challenge. We should talk about the difference between in the climate control between the test setup and the production setup. We will talk about machine learning, but at the end, when Alex arrived. And Tommy wanted to raise questions about Paul's setup, especially about Hikvision cameras, kind of.
Okay, then I think we should. I think we should start with the GUI session. About I read your table and I think it was okay, so I didn't add anything because it ended up. But if anyone had anything to say about it or made suggestions already, go ahead, I would say.
So I think it's only Rebecca, you and me who had checked this Excel file.
No, I checked it too, but I didn't had anything to add because for me it was as good as has been. So
okay, so if you take this Excel file as someone who is not a software coder but in making user interfaces, kind of, you can work from that. Would you say so? Or would you miss some more information to be able to make a user interface design?
Me or Rebecca?
Both of you.
Okay. So start again, Rebecca.
Okay. Yeah, for me, that's very helpful information because it lets me know what it is I'm supposed to be receiving and seeing on the GUI. And so that way we can put up placeholders on the GUI to get that information and then, write code that will bring that to us. So yeah, we need to know what it is we're going to be receiving so that way we can know what it is that we have to display on the screen.
Yes, of course. But my question is more in the direction of if we roll out this challenge. So for everyone who is not familiar about the idea is to start a challenge, a user interface challenge, to say there's a list of data that has to be shown in the user interface. What I'm still missing there is the different views that should be also incorporated into. We should think about, I think, 4 or 5 views we came up last week. Live view, event view, maintenance view, what have you, map view, and there's the last one. I have to look it up. So the idea is to start such a challenge in our community here and to let people who are not developers but have, let's say, creative ideas, or maybe they are already professionals in creating user interfaces, to take on this challenge and create a user interface. And we should also give, to incentivize this, we should also give a kind of a prize to the most beautiful or most sophisticated or the ones that is best voted, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's a wonderful idea, and I'm excited to see what people will bring because I just know that they're going to have a lot of great ideas.
The question is, okay, we do not have to start this tomorrow. We will certainly start it as soon as possible, but first of all, I wanted to make sure that the data we present to those people is sufficiently enough so they can work from there. Can you agree on that? That's my most important point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you saying something like have a a view and list some items that we want in that view, and then another view, for example, the maintenance view, and have what items we want listed or shown in that view. So give them the list of views and the items within each view, and then let them go from there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So we'll add some columns. So let's say we have 5 views, and we tag every item data point and say in which views they have to be seen. Is that what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's excellent.
How we make this available to the community, so they can take part by announcement in the general channel, or because how we will get the data back that we are seeking? Google Drive or?
Wow, it's a good question. So I would say there's an Excel file and people shall pick the Excel file. So
okay,
this Excel file has to be open to, accessible to anyone.
Okay, and so Google Drive.
Google Drive. And what we get back is, I would say, images. Because they have to draw. That's the most important thing.
Image. Okay, so we have to announce it to the people that they have to fill in an image and not just the table.
No, the table is just the basic information so that they can draw their user interface ideas.
Okay, so the task will be draw a GUI interpretation that you find most suitable.
Right.
They just email it to us.
Yeah.
It's an art contest.
It's an art contest, yes.
Email.
Yeah. And we should certainly run it for several, my English. It should run for a particular time so that people also have the chance to. And not everyone, if we address it today, not everyone gets the information today. So we have to give, let's say, some couple of weeks, 1-2 weeks, just to address the people. And then they have, let's say, 3-4 weeks to work on. So I'd say
okay, so
it could last 1 to 2 months.
So the final decision process about finding the most suitable version and giving the reward should be the end of April?
Kind of. I mean, this doesn't keep you from working, Rebecca, right? Or Brandon? Rebecca, you're muted.
No, it doesn't keep us from working because we can still do what we're doing. Mm-hmm. The design of the GUI is actually separate from the code, from the what makes the GUI work.
Yeah.
So we can.
So when you get, let's say, by end of April, you get the voted, the community best voted user interface, then it's still okay when you get it end of April.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So there's one thing left. How do we incentivize this?
Money. Cash prize.
Of course, you say this.
What about our merchandise products? So maybe a cup or the T-shirt.
How long do you think, Christian, a person is working on this?
At least 1 hour.
Ah, come on. No chance. You never did a user interface. I'd say the shortest, if 40 hours work on this is my guess.
No. For the idea and drawing the idea, drawing the image.
Drawing is quickly, but developing it and rearranging and reworking and throwing away, starting new, blah, blah, blah. So it takes, I would say, 1 full week work time. It's my
yeah, of course, the development, but as I understood it, the reward of the challenge will be for handing in the image.
Yeah.
But
creating.
I know
the
how
image.
long it took me to design the BTTS GUI. It was about 3 months to get it working
Yeah, we're not
and
talking
to be
about
intuitive.
coding. We're talking about drawing. So
Yeah, but yeah, that's the point.
so that's my guess.
I would say, hey,
Go ahead.
my wife is a graphic designer. She does all kinds of product designs for grocery stores and stuff.
Perfect.
And it takes I think at least a few days to get the design kind of concrete in her head and onto a forum or a medium of some sort. So yeah, I tend to think it would be at least a few days, maybe towards a week. To also another thing I think I was going to bring up earlier. I know there was some talk about whether it's a web GUI or like a native app. I think that would play into the design specs. So as long as we've got those things spelled out for whenever we do that, I think
Good
would be
point.
helpful.
Good point.
Okay, so since we decided that it will be a web GUI, so we have to mention it.
Yes, absolutely. I think
And people have to provide.
it also gives them a much better.
Pardon me?
That also gives them a better idea of what is capable, right? If they're designing something for a native app, they may not know what kind of things they can do. Whereas if they're designing stuff for the web, they are familiar with the kinds of things you can do there.
Yeah, but this is professionals who already know what the web interfaces are capable, browsers or web views are capable of. I'd rather see it from people in the community who wants to contribute, but are not able to contribute by coding. You know, there are a lot of people who want to help us, but they're not developers and they have two left hands. But they have maybe great minds and great ideas.
Design challenge, not coding challenge.
Right, exactly, design challenge. But still, it's a web view. It's a good addition to that. So if one person works, let's say, a couple of days, maybe a week, let's say 5 days, there should be a little bit more of an incentive than a T-shirt. It's my feeling, my gut feeling.
It has a Sky 360 branding on it.
And it's a rare item, so it's almost an NFT
And
token.
it's a rare item, yeah.
Tommy, what's your idea about it? Please enlighten us.
I agree. You're gonna. I'm 100%. Why is my thing not working right here? Yeah, without question. I've been involved with projects like that, and it does take a while because you got to get your mind wrapped around what is the end goal, what does everybody feel good about. There's a lot of back and forth, so I do see some time that's going to have to be spent on it. I think it's not really difficult as long as we've got all the parameters as far as what we want to see, and show. And then it's just a matter of laying it out, which is real simple. But I don't know. I think you're right. You're going to have to spend a little more money put some more effort into it than just a T-shirt. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's going to be somebody that's going to want to do it. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, you're going to pay $1,000 or more easily.
Yeah.
To just come up with a concept. But I think we got enough minds together that we can figure out what we want, right?
So, okay, we could actually start the challenge without telling the people what the incentive will be. But will they then join?
It's called the bait and switch.
Right.
Or you can even give them options, right? Say like you could have your pick from the store or something, up to whatever things. Give them a few different choices.
That's what I had in mind. That's
Yeah.
what I had in mind.
Yeah, we could also give them a gift card from Amazon for, let's say, a $1,000 gift card.
Yeah.
$1,000?
Is this too much? Too less?
How much money we got?
Oh.
Hey, I'll I'll chime up and donate it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. No issue.
So before, thank you very much, Tom. Before we agree on that, is it what is the? I mean, if I sell a week, it's worth $1,000 income. Not income, but besides tax. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Is this the value, or is it 500, or is it even 2,000?
There's a lot of here. I don't know about where you guys are, but here we have things like I'm losing my mind right now. We have several apps that you can go to and hire developers. When I say developers, I don't mean developers. I mean just people that will design things, develop things, whatever. And you can hire them for somebody that really knows their stuff. Is what I'm saying. I'm my whole background has been in printing, has been in art design and all that, graphic arts and all that stuff. I could do it, but I'm too busy to do it, right? So I've got way bigger things to deal with on a daily basis. So what you really want is someone that does this, eats, lives, and breathes this stuff every day. That way you get something really professional, really good, and so you're going to have to pay for it. And that's why I'm saying, if we find somebody that's interested in the project, we could get away with it, relatively inexpensive, paying the least amount. Otherwise, if you just hire a professional, they're just going to want whatever their going rate is, and I think it's going to be around $1,000. Okay. The reason why I've got 1,000 in my head is because it's a round number that it's not too little and it's not too much, right? Okay. And all you're asking for is really a design, a layout. You're not asking for the actual work, the actual coding. Oh. Exactly. And so, but that's a graphic artist. When you talk to them, they like $175 an hour or plus or more, right? I've seen up to $250. It just depends on how good they are. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we can hire one right off of one of the apps. Uptick, I think, I can't remember the name of them right now.
I wouldn't say we should hire one. That's not the idea of the challenge. The idea of the challenge is to have the community to be contributing in a way, so that they break their minds on it, so they wrap their heads around it.
Maybe we recruit somebody.
I know that there's a lot of podcasters in the community that wouldn't mind contributing their artistic talents to things like this. Okay. Particularly, I'm thinking of the UFO Garage folks. I know that one of them does graphic design and stuff.
Okay, so we find people. The question is, when we start the challenge, we should also say what the incentive shall be. Otherwise, it's a lame duck, I'd say.
I don't know, because you don't know yet until you get somewhere where it's going or how long it's going to take. Because we're going to say to them, hey, we need 5 boxes on a screen, right? Or we're going to say we need 6 boxes on a screen, or we're going to need this and that. At some point, you got to figure out, you got to wrap your head around how much time, what the concept is, how much time it's going to take for me to do it. And then,
Yeah, but Tommy, it's not we're giving not a job to someone. It's not how do you say in English? Offshore development. Not
right, you're saying
it's a reward. It's a challenge. So let's say 10, 20 people pick it up and work on it, and then they bring in their designs, and then the community shall vote on it. And the one who wins also the challenge prize.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I agree. I just didn't know if, if you put $500, for example, maybe that's not enough for somebody to say, "Oh, I'll do that for sure."
Yeah.
But if you put 1,000, it's a little over the edge. It's just right there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So. And offering, we should not offer money in cash. We should doing a gift card, Amazon gift card, for example. Right?
I got an extra miner I can give away. They're only $400, but they return money.
But you have to ship them.
Right. Might take you a month, but hey.
Yeah, well, I will know tomorrow. I will know.
I hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So, okay. So we agree on this.
Well, then how are you going to announce it?
Yeah, here on Discord.
Yeah.
Here are the people. We can also announce it additionally on Twitter, or what have you. So
Yeah.
every one of us can on his channels announce it. We can even announce it on the website if you want to. Maybe that's a good idea actually. Put it on the website so that people have a touch point. On the website we can link the file, the Excel file.
Yeah.
All right. So we just have to find a funder for the
Hey, that's an idea. Why don't we give them the option? They can either take crypto or they can take fiat, take cash. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, we don't have crypto yet, so someone
Well,
has.
I do.
You
Or I'm
do.
donating.
Whoa, wait. Okay, so when I have this on paper, you say you would act as a donator for that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
You want to rethink this?
No, it's just $1,000, right?
Yeah, for some $1,000 is much. So okay.
No, I got my own business, so it's not a problem.
Okay, thank you very much. We can put on sponsored by and so forth. We can design this if you want to.
Yeah, whatever.
That takes the burden of European tax law off of us completely.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they can take crypto or either way. And some people would prefer crypto right now. That's why I said maybe that's more of an incentive. Who knows? I don't know. In my opinion, it's more of an incentive to take the crypto because it's going somewhere. Fiat, you got to go turn it into something to do something or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter either way.
So okay, we can write out the challenge with, let's say, either a gift card or a crypto wallet worth of $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Hey Tommy, wow! Thank you very much for this. This is a great contribution. Absolutely.
No, that's nothing.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
Maybe for you it's not much, but for us, because we get something from this, and
it's my part of my contribution. I mean, it is something. I'm just saying it's my contribution. I love doing it. Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much, Tommy.
It's just what I want to do, so don't worry about it.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we're still work on. I will work on the Excel file the next couple of days and circle between Christian and Rebecca, so that we can finalize this as a document that will be handed out to the people, so that they also understand what the challenge is and so forth. In a PDF.
Starting with 1st of March.
Yeah, 10 days. Good point.
Yeah. So starting 1st of March and ending end of April.
Mid-April.
Mid-April. So no 2 weeks and
2 weeks for voting.
Yeah. So the reward will be given at the end of April.
Yep.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah. So start 1st March and mid-April.
So the deadline for filling in and resending and getting us the stuff is mid-April, and the reward will be given in the end of April. Okay.
Exactly, and it is a community voting. And Discord helps here because you can add a poll, and you're only allowed to hit once, so they cannot be faked. Someone can hit 100 times, kind of, because you need an account to poll. Yeah, these things that are important, Tommy.
Right. I was just thinking somebody actually doing that. I want this. I want this.
So end of April is the big final announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really generous.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much again, Tommy. That's
Yeah,
cool
no
thing.
worries.
And yeah, I shall prepare also, let's say, part on the website, and whatever you want as a sponsor, give your logo or just your name or whatever you prefer, or nothing at all, whatever you think.
Yeah, I mean, we could just say from the. I'll get back to you on. Let me think about it.
Think
How to
about
do
it.
that.
Perfect.
I don't brand it. I'm not trying to brand it. I just was thinking of another way to do this, like from the community member or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't need to say my name. Just yeah. Let me think about it, and I'll give you the word.
Just Tommy, because everyone knows Tommy, but doesn't know
Yeah.
who you actually are.
Well, I don't need the recognition. Is my point. I'm not trying to make this for recognition. So I was trying to find another cute way to do it, but I'll think about it.
Okay. But I think
I'd still like to list you as a supporter. I'd like to add supporter to his role,
absolutely.
if you would mind.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. You do it right now. Perfect. Okay.
Yep, done.
All right. That was one of the biggest points here. Christian, anything? No, I think I checked all my boxes here for the challenge. I don't have anything more on the challenge part. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
Job done.
in the next coming days we'll can finalize this Excel file and turn it into a PDF that everyone can get.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So
Rebecca, do you have anything to add?
Well, over the next couple of days, I'm just going to go through the elements that are going to be on the GUI and then send that over to you to change or add to, and then do whatever you need to do with that.
yeah, we can all work on the same Excel file for the next couple of days. I will certainly add some columns for the views and to check the boxes, which data element is seen in which view. And if I do it, please review it. Oh, makes a rhyme.
Absolutely, yes, I will. I will.
Yeah.
Just make sure to post the link so we can see it.
You got the link?
What was that?
You already got the link to the Excel file, don't you?
Yeah, it was posted in the Signal Dev group. Last Sunday, I think about 1 or 2 hours after the meeting. Yeah.
Rebecca, you're there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, I thought you were going to do a brand new Excel file. But if you're talking about the other one, then yes, I will go ahead and go through that previous one that you sent.
All right.
And I did look at that when you sent it before. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're talking about the same Excel file. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there's no other. Okay. All right then.
Okay, if we have anything else to say to the GUI challenge, design challenge, then we can go on with Bojan and the air conditioning.
So the question for me was talking about the climate control is the difference. I want to make sure that we are on the same page here. The difference between the test setup and the production, the final product. The final product.
Yeah. The development stage will include an intake sensor, outlet sensor, and enclosure sensor. So intake and outlet sensor inside the channel, so we can see what's going on. Also airflow sensor, so we can see what's going on, what we're dealing with. And also thermistors on a heat sinks, outside heat sinks, will be also for development mode. But in the end, we don't need more than one sensor inside the enclosure. That's it. This is it. Cut price down, but we need to have, in a development mode, we need to have all these things in order to see and calculate to see what's going on. Hardware wise, firmware wise.
We will need to calculate delta T. Which is going to require a sensor on the internal heatsink as well. You need to both sides of that Peltier.
Why in internal?
Because when you measure delta T, you're not measuring the difference between like the Peltier and the air temperature. You're measuring the difference.
No. Inside the channel, you have two intake sensor and outlet sensor.
But that's the temperature of the air. You need the temperature of the Peltier
to
itself.
see. Yeah, but to see how Peltier. Yeah, but to see how Peltier's impact the delta T. So why you need sensors?
Because you can't get delta T without a sensor on the hot side and a sensor on the cold side, directly touching them. That's how you calculate delta T. You can't use the ambient air temperature at all. I mean, you. Are
you talking about delta T? Okay, I got now. So yeah. So we need. I just sent you link on a Discord.
Yeah, those look good.
Yeah, this is 10 pieces, $7. So we can mount 4 inside and 4 outside, and let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I can. I have enough metal here that I can fit that in easily.
Yeah, so I mean we can do this.
One question.
Just as long as we're incorporating that.
One question to you guys. Brett, you were talking about delta T, but you mean the temperature difference from the interior to the exterior side of the Peltier.
Yes.
And Julian, you were talking about delta T, the difference of the intake and the outlet.
Yes.
So these are two different delta T's.
Two different things. One is internal inside the Peltier. Another one, which is we are worried about it, right? About what kind of what's going on inside the channel, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So my question is, for the test setup, do we need both delta T's?
Yes.
Okay, so we need much more sensors. Actually, we have
because if you're piling on sensors to get the parameters correct, I mean you need to. We're looking to optimize delta T. So,
but in a calculation, since we have 4, let's say we have 4 sensors on the outside heat sinks and 4 sensors on the inside. We're gonna calculate, or for example, 4 thermistor sensors. We're gonna calculate arithmetic middle. So we're gonna have only one result, not 4 results.
No, I'd say
you know what I'm saying.
This is just for test setup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not used for the final product.
No,
absolutely not. No.
In this case, I will not do arithmetic middle of the 4. We have 4 sensors and we get 4 readings. 8 sensors actually, 8 readings.
Actually, that's I want to pause there. George, in your experience, do you think a final product would need delta T calculations as part of an input?
I think if the development model is validated well enough, that should be able to extract delta T from the parameters that you have. So even so far as to, well, like for example, the one paper I posted where they were actually able to calculate what delta T was based off of like the CBAC voltage coming from the Peltier. So once we have a test set up actually running, we can see how much information we can like calculate backwards to determine. Sorry, I'm going off the rails here. Not sure if that was your question, but I think we could basically, limit it down to for the actual production model. It would just be we would need some access to the actual ambient temperature, and then the hot side, and the internal enclosure, and the humidity. Just those sensors.
Yeah, because the setup for thermistors is, just one resistor on a board. I'm talking about board. One resistor, which will be SMD technology, and then for additional two sensors will be. This is like I2C on a printed board. Will be even on a final board will be included. So anytime we need some changes, we need to change something, we can add this component for development mode and do some measuring. This is easy stuff. So you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My question is, yes, for the test setup. Let's talk about only for the test setup. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because it's complicated enough. You want to have a temperature sensor in the enclosure at the intake, at the outlet, so this is 3, plus 4 times 2 for the Peltier stuff, which is 8.
Yes.
I come up with 11 temperature sensors for the test setup.
Yeah. Also, I will include my reference reference sensors. So just for me, the laboratory setup, But my question is, finally, where we can locate it, the enclosure sensor. Where?
Well, this is for the test setup. Actually, it's not relevant at the moment because first of all, you don't.
Yeah, but in the end, but we need to know.
Yeah, and for the final product, there will be certainly a temperature sensor inside the enclosure, and we can talk about where it will be. For now, for the test setup, you are working with a plastic box from Home Depot and blah blah blah. So it doesn't really matter where you put your sensor inside. Just not too close to the 100-watt bulb, but let's say somewhere inside. Because all your setup is different to anything that will be on the outside in the future, because we have different positions. One is in the shadow, one is exposed to sunlight. So there will be a difference in any setup. So we just have to read this temperature sensor. So for the test setup, it doesn't matter where you put it, somewhere in the enclosure.
Also, I was thinking about yesterday. In order to employ the speed controller.
What controller?
In speed controller.
Speed?
Proportional, integral, and derivate. Controller. Differential. Yeah. The controller, like a feedback, in a feedback loop, we need to have set points. For example, 25 degrees. We cannot work with PID, from 10 degrees to 35 degrees Celsius. No, we need to have one set point. And then we're gonna then calculate, so we can have sensor in a enclosure, and we can calculate this error, and then we can apply the PID in a feedback loop, so we can have very low tolerance in a temperature.
Yeah, boy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. I got your point. But this is the moment when we start controlling airflow, heat, and so forth. At that point in time where we are creating the test setup, it's only interesting for us to know the readings, to get the readings in, and to develop a graph so we can learn how the system responds.
I think what Bojan meant was that in order to control the Peltier elements for testing, you need the sensor readings for the temperature and to fit it into the PID regulator.
Why? Why should you?
Yes, yes.
Because
I must do
you
that.
can't drive any test without it. Because you have to
Yes.
heat up the Peltier element or to cool it down to get the readings.
Yeah, but
You need the PID regulator as soon as the thing is assembled, because it controls
Richard.
Yeah,
Richard, this is just a software side. Nothing to do with hardware.
I know.
No additional hardware.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, Bojan, and we were talking about this where I already said you do not make. You were thinking about the software that controls this equipment. I would say at that very point in time, when we establish the test setup on 3 different places for 3 different people, we should create a graphs plural, of response curves. Without controlling,
what Bojan is talking about is that in order to drive the Peltiers, you have to set up a PID regulator.
Why?
Because without them, you can't drive it. You can't use it. Then it is just nothing.
Why?
Because it isn't run through current. It doesn't operate. To operate it, you need a PID regulator.
We already came to the point where we say we have a fixed current and we vary the voltage, right?
Nope. That's not how it works.
Okay.
The static current was meant as an energy thing, not how the Peltiers are driven.
Okay. So you want to say is you can these graphs very easily with wattage. Let's say you start with 1 watt and go up to 72 watts.
Yes, some kind like this. But to do that, in order to do that, you need to have a PID regulator to drive the Peltier element.
You know what? Even
if you put one amp, and then it's settling to some kind of temperature. No, because it is altering around that temperature, and to have it
even in a rise.
Yes, if you just put 1 amps, it's going to rise indefinitely, and to have it on a certain temperature, you need a PID regulator to control it to that particular temperature.
Okay, so maybe I have a knot in my brain. What the graphs shall tell us at the end is how much power in watt, for example, how much power do we have to add to overcome a delta T or to compensate for?
Yeah, or to reach that for compensation. Yeah, and because of that, the temperature readings are just to get the correct values for the PID regulator. Because we have to see where it's going. So if we add, let's say, 1.5 amp, and it's going up to exceed, let's say, 130 degrees, that's not good, because it will destroy the hardware. And we have to find out the correct values for the PID regulator. And this is a task that can take up to 1 week to get it right, because you do not want to have oversampling or undersampling it. And you have to control each Peltier element on its own to reach the delta T that we want to have.
Because I will drive each Peltier separately.
Yes.
So can be some tolerance between Peltier elements, or for sure, you know. So even on a final product will be driven, each Peltier element will be driven with own constant current driver.
That was the idea.
6 amp maximum.
The constant current driver does the following. It provides the set amount of current no matter what. If you set it to, let's say, 1 amp, then it provides exactly 1 amp. It doesn't alter around it. If you set it to 2 amps, then it does that. That is meant by static current. The others depend on the load and not on the static current value. This is the difference between it. You drive it with different amps, of course, because the amps they match a certain delta T or a certain rise to that delta T, and then have to be controlled.
Then I'm assuming 12 volts is maintained static throughout.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I'm going to use this 15 volts power supply.
Yeah, but we're going to keep it at 12 volts, right?
No. 12 volts ATX power supply is out. Actually, I send the notes in a developer. Why?
14.5 is the absolute maximum of the Peltier unit, and we shouldn't really exceed 12 volts, or it'll shorten the lifespan. So if we're running a 15 volt power supply, we should step down.
No. Let me explain you something.
Okay.
It should not exceed 16.4 volts, if I remember right.
I thought it was 14.5. Hold on.
No. Check it out. I think 16 or 16.4 volts.
Depends on the product, probably.
This is the maximum voltage that it can take.
This is TIC 1-12 something. 1207, 1206.
Yeah. Hold on.
So maybe I'm not totally not on your page. Will we get a graph at the end that tells us how to drive this in order to get the certain outcome of how much
you will
have to compensate?
Yeah, it's not about the graph. It's getting there. It's the beginning. What do we have to do to get a graph in the end?
Okay.
So the way, the path is the goal.
So I think we could I think what we're kind of discussing here is what the set point temperatures for the PID controller.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to determine, and I think
what is maximum voltage? 16 volts. Do you have the data sheet?
Yeah. So at 25 degrees, the hot side temperature at 25 degrees Celsius, Vmax is 15.2 volts. At the hot side temperature of 50 degrees Celsius, the Vmax is 17.4.
So, but the reason I using this mean wheel, the brand power supply, 15 volts, because this will be can be adjusted up to this is 20 amps up to 18 volts. So we need to have with 12 volts from ATX power supply, we cannot have maximum from our Peltier elements. Speaking about heating, speaking about cooling, no way. So we need to have more voltage, but and then so we can have maximum, for example, for extreme weather, extremely hot and extremely cold weather, with 12 volts, which is I was experimenting with these two blocks. No way, 12 volts, forget about it, is out. So we need to have, this is like a $30 power supply, $35, and we can have nice amperage, enough to drive 4 Peltiers, enough voltage to drive 4 Peltiers. Of
Yeah, I
course,
guess
and then
my only question
Yeah.
is how close to the max do we want to? Can we operate these things without them
I don't know. I don't know how about to
reducing the
see.
lifespan?
I think that's what the sort of validation testing will help us figure out is
Yes.
how much power exactly do we need to supply these things to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So we
And we could
need a
start with
little
just-
reserve for that.
Yes.
So if we finalize it to or if we max it to 12, and we come up with some differences between the Peltiers and they influence each other, then 12 volts doesn't give us the correct readings, and that's why we need 15 to 18 volts to compensate.
That's why I put these 2 blocks with 2 Peltier in a parallel to see how much I can get from 12 volts. No way, maximum the 5 amps on a 11 volts. So the thing is, whatever you device put between, in order to control current through the Peltier, you need to put something between Peltier element and power supply. Any device between plus, let's say 12 volts and Peltier, it has some voltage drop. Let's say 1 volt. So we're losing 1 volt. So we don't have any more 12 volts. We have 11 volts on a Peltier.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I in this design I found this LT3083 from Analog Devices. This is a low drop voltage regulator. Anyway, this will be work on a current constant current driver. It has 0.7 voltage drop. So even though if I working with this nice device, I have 0.7 volts drop, so I don't have 12 volts anymore. So I need to use 15 volts, at least 15 volts power supply. So even voltage drop 1 volt, so I can adjust. This power supply is the 15 volts, but you can adjust up to 18 volts. So we have enough range to fine tuning what we need, So this is my point.
Okay. So we are at the point.
People, this is will be very complicated. I mean, this is very complicated.
That's why we talk about it. So at that point in time, you, Bojan, are the one who you are trying different electronic equipment, let's say, to find the final test setup that then will be recopied by Brad and George, right?
No. I am done with find electronic. I found right electronics device. I mean the chip, the IC, which is from analog devices.
Yeah, okay.
I think
very nice.
Is
So
that
I'm not.
you follow Bojan's lead and use his whatever hardware he is for the controller and the powering. We're not doing our own thing.
This is the middle point between price and simplicity.
Okay, I understand.
So
now my question is, when are you settled, Bojan? When do you think you're settled with an electronic setup that Brad and George can take over?
You think about board?
No, the setup.
But I needed the channel for setup, right?
You said you're gonna take the TNC. Is this still true? So the TNC 4 for the climate control. Is this the basic electronics board that we're going to use?
Yes, TNC and 8 LT3083
and so forth.
The ICs.
Okay.
So this is basically it.
So,
I mean, maybe I can use a Maxim digital pot, so I can controlling the current not with regular pods, but with it, like I said, 256 steps.
Yeah.
We can have a range, for example, between 0 and 6 amp in a 256 steps.
Yes.
To
Bojan,
controlling.
I wanted to ask you, when do you think you have a setup that Brad and George can take over or copy?
I mean, I can have electronics maybe in a week or so.
Okay. And then test it?
How can I test it? I don't have a channel. And Peltiers.
You don't have a channel?
So,
You test it in a way so that the electronic works, so that you can say, so this is the schematic. Here, Brad, there's the schematic. Order this electronic.
Okay.
And then you're good.
Let's say not this week, next week.
Next week.
Someday next week.
Okay.
So I can test on a bench, check the DHT, check the current, the constant current drivers, check input for 8 thermistors to check that. But in order to get all working together, need to be assembled.
Yeah.
So
this goes in parallel. So Brad is preparing the 3D prints so that you can put the electronics into it. So this runs in parallel.
Yeah.
You will get it from Brad, let's say, in a week or at least in 2 weeks.
I need to know what I have to know what heat sinks he's using. If he wants to use my sink
You're not settled
or
on
what?
heat
And
No, I can use mine. Don't worry about it. Just
how are we gonna mount?
I'm sorry.
They got to be custom mount. They don't. I need to know exactly what they are, so I can model them and then produce a custom mount
frame.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me finish first electronics and done with that.
Yeah.
And test electronics.
Yeah.
And then I can step to see what's going on with his things.
Okay.
Good point.
George, the same goes for you. If you have a model or something you want me to build a frame for, just let me know what it is, and I can design it and start printing it.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna have mine up this afternoon.
Okay.
It takes me about 9 days to order them from Japan, so there's quite a bit of a lag. So I think if mine works this afternoon, I'm going to go ahead and order the remaining 3, and then I'm going to run with that.
Okay. And
just
what
because
would, what kind of difference, like design difference for the different heat sinks, do you think I should try? Like maybe taller?
I think that might be worthwhile, because I mean, this one has done really well, but at room temperature, I don't know how it's going to do under like extreme conditions. Because you're right, it's not very big. It's only 80 by 40. Mm-hmm. So taller or longer, I would think, would be worthwhile. The Peltier wouldn't fit on it, directly in the center. Obviously, you would have to, basically you'd mount it here, and then half of it or whatever, however much left over is going to hang down beneath. But that's the only way we're going to get more surface area, is going that direction. You can't go laterally because you're running into the bowed out sections of the duct here and here. We're very short on space. So yeah, if you want to go down, I can find something. Trust me, I'll make it work. I'll figure out a way to make it work.
All right. Christian, I think we have 2 discussion points left over. One is the machine learning, where Alex, hi, and Lionel,
hi,
welcome, are joining in. And then we have the Tommy's question about post setup.
Yeah.
So
which one do you want to do first? ML or Paul setup with the FLIR?
Let me ask the question.
I don't have any.
Yeah. Exactly what
I don't have any. yeah, not much to say on my end. So haven't had any time this week. Yeah, I've been talking with Yannick and about the speed measurement of the object. I think we made some good progress on that, but that's pretty much it on my end. So that's it for me. I'm sorry, I had a busy week at work.
No worries, no worries. Okay, Alex, anything from your side you want to contribute?
Not much, because I also have a busy week, and so we chatted with Lionel about putting all of the logs in one JSON file, and I think we'll do it in the next week, maybe. And so that's it, and that's all.
Okay.
I also pushed a few scripts about object detection. It's something like a basic, but maybe we can improve it in our repo in another branch. So that's all.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Do you both have access to GitHub? Is there everything okay for you? Everything have to change?
Yeah.
Permission-wise?
Yeah, we're
different branches, and so all is wonderful.
we're collaborating on that branch, pushing things and tinkering each on our side. But there's some the start of a collaboration going on between the three of us. That's
Perfect.
That's a good thing.
Perfect. I heard from Mike that he's not available this week too, but he said he had some issues the last couple of weekends, but it will change in the future. So let's say we can expect him to be there next week.
Well, he provided an excellent base to work on.
We missed him.
Yeah, we missed him. True. Mike, we missed you. So I uploaded batch number 4, Mike's batch number 4, to the drive. I still have to upload 5, 6, and 7. And Brad, your stuff is not uploaded yet.
No, I've uploaded it from my NAS to whoever wanted it, so they've got it.
I got it.
You have access to the drive. You can upload it. Okay, you can do it by yourself.
If we need to.
Software development, ML.
Yeah, I just I mean it's background stuff that could be used later, so I took it down to save space. If we need it to be put back up, I can, but otherwise I'd just assume leave it off.
Leave it until it is needed. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Christian, that leaves us with Tommy's question.
Yes.
So, maybe Tommy, you can.
Maybe Tommy, share your screen so everyone can see what you're talking about.
It's let me start with this. I don't know the name of it, but there was a video that somebody posted. Well, I apologize. I didn't see it until last night, so I'm really very new about what I'm talking about here. But there was somebody that posted in one of the channels a video about monitoring blocks on the background, the sampling video pixels on the background. Do you recall that?
It was on Discord?
Yeah. Brad saw it, and I know Richard saw it because you guys responded to it. Anyways, here's the point of the story. After I saw that video, it's a freeware. It's a FreeBSD software. And Brad was asking, can we run it on this or that, whatever. Anyways, the point is this. That software is dead on what they're going with. And I just wanted to know if you guys actually saw that and paid attention to it, because that's where I was going myself with this whole concept. Anyways, the point is this. We have some software. I've been involved with test and measurement for video for about 20 years now. And we have this product with one of the manufacturers out of Japan that I worked for. We had this product called Cinezone. And essentially it was zoning software. And basically we took the pixels in your on your monitor, your display, and we mapped them out. And what we did was we called it false colors. We would literally just take the black and white information off the camera, strip the color that the camera would place onto that. We'd just strip it off, just take the luminance information, and we would paint our own colors onto rainbow colors onto it. So basically, 0 was black, okay, and 100 was white, solid white, and then there was rainbow in between. But here's the point: we had the ability, because in broadcast, when you're looking at a small monitor about this size instead of a big giant monitor, it's hard to be able to see the shadowy areas, right? And that's what you really want to be able to see. And so what guys will do is they'll blow up that little bitty monitor. They'll blow into a 1x1 pixel area just to see that, and then they'll blow out. If you have this false software, you have the zoning software, you have the ability to zone in to just an area that you want to see. Yeah,
I get it. Yeah. So basically, in astronomy, what you're using is the FITS format. It's a data format. You can store anything in it, and it doesn't have any color map. You can put any color map you want to it, and you can alter the dynamic range to it just by using the right button pressed and moving the mouse cursor. Yeah, we can provide that to any video or image stream because the remapping of the color is pretty easy to do. Yeah, it's a good point to see if you have got a very small display. You're very right about that. Then you need to boost the contrast, of course, and to see shadows, to see or to get a better hint for the geometry of an object. Yes, and we can use that, of course. So there's already software written in Python to do that kind of thing on a stream. Yeah.
Oh, really? Cool.
May I ask you a question? What's the reason for it? I mean, for recognition, it's a software recognition. It's a software that does the recognition. And the software, if it does recognize anything, it recognizes...
It helps with the blending.
Yeah, but it doesn't recognize better because there are different color maps here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it does, because you change the dynamic range of the single image of the P frame, for example. You get a better detection because low is lower and high is higher. So you stretch it.
Let me say this. Let me interject this. The way that the software works, or the way that the algorithm works, is it measures every level. So if I'm 1080, if I'm using a 1920 by 1080 resolution, it gives me 1,000 lines, 1,080 lines of different shade, different color. And then it's up to you to zoom in on that color. So, for example, the way I would depict it on the monitor is it would be let's say like a level meter on the side, and you would see black here, blue, green. No, it would go black.
The rainbow,
yeah, it would exactly. It'd give you the rainbow effect all the way up to white. Okay. Now what you do is you just zoom in to the area that you really want to really see just those areas, just like looking at a spectrum analyzer, where you look at just a certain frequency. It's the same thing. You can zoom in, or you can look at the whole spectrum. It doesn't matter. Yeah. This software does the same thing.
What it does is logic. But my question is, where does it help? Does it help the user just to have different color maps for viewing, or does it help the software recognition?
Both, because it's good for the blending. Because what you do is you do a dynamic range correction about that. If you've got a very, very soft contrast image where you have got just a shadow in it, then you can boost the contrast with it, because it helps by deblending it. It says, okay, this is background, this is object. No, you do not boost the whole frame. You boost what can be detected. Mm-hmm. It helps the detection.
You can isolate. Just like, think of a spectrum analyzer. It's exactly like a spectrum analyzer. You can isolate to frequencies or zones, whatever. because you've got 1,000. Well, I don't know what the resolution is going to be for us in the end, but I work with 1920 by 1080 all day, so I just look at everything at 1,080 lines of resolution.
Yeah, we would look at just the P frames here, and they can be from to that, depending on what object we have. But therefore, the basic thing is it is a deblending algorithm, and we do that before the stream is fitted into the ML stuff.
Right.
It's some kind of pre-processing.
So let me help this out. I actually have video on this stuff. What we actually used to sell this stuff. So I'll send that to you through the Discord. I'll send you. I've got spreadsheets. I've got PDFs, explain it, and all that stuff. I'll share it with you.
I didn't see the discussion in. Was it in Discord or in Signal? The discussion about this. Where can I find it back?
It was either general. It was somebody that just added it, and I think Brad said, "No, we need to move it off this channel or something." I can't remember. Or no, I think what it was. No, it wasn't Brad. It was Richard that said something like, "What is your point about this?" Or, no, somebody. No, it was. Gosh, I got to find it. I'll show it to you. Because somebody was asking about whether we could put it on our system or what it ran on, and it was a FreeBSD software.
I think that was recently. That was like the other day, right?
Yeah. I just didn't see it till last night, but it was like Thursday or Friday when somebody posted it.
Yeah, it's in machine learning, I think.
Maybe that's where it was. I honestly, I don't remember. I was just flipping around through channels and I found it.
But it's not the Wolfram from John Solo.
Not Wolfram Alpha.
Let me see.
That was the one I was thinking of.
No, I don't think that's one.
Wait a minute. Where are you at? Oh, machine learning?
Or was it the motionless video viewer? No, it's something different.
No. Wait.
Motionless? It's not it?
Which one?
What channel are you on?
Machine learning.
And okay, so let me scroll down here. No, it's not that one. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not finding it in there.
Maybe it's
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Maybe it was under hardware. Let me look under hardware.
Hardware.
No, it's not under hardware. Gosh, I'm really sorry.
A little off topic, Richard.
Yeah.
Don't expect on a first time version 1 will be just right. So can be back and forth. Speaking about electronics.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just want to get the right time frame when you think.
No such a things electronics working with version number 1.0. No such a thing. So must be some.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
But we need to start. We need to start from something.
Yes, of course. Rebecca, what did you say?
Yeah. She said the same with the software.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. Hey, Tommy.
I'm looking through it, and I'm not finding it. But I'll get
ideas. No.
I haven't deleted any posts recently, except for one that was a troll. But
no, I'm not finding it here for some reason. But God, I've read so many different posts that I'm not sure where I was at. Maybe it was under AMA. Ask me anything. That's way back in August. Gosh.
You saw a video. Was a video posted or a link posted?
Yeah, and that's maybe it was under media. Yeah, you don't remember. You actually posted a response to it.
What did I say?
We've slept since then, obviously.
Yeah, me too. This is crazy. Was it under GUI?
I can't recall whatever I posted in the past.
Okay. I'm flipping through the channels here until I find this. This is crazy. It's like when you go to the doctor and say my side hurts, and then it just doesn't hurt anymore. This is it. Oh.
Science. No.
Man, I wished I had.
Maybe it was on a different Discord. Maybe do you remember the name of the algorithm?
No, I don't, because I didn't see that much of the video. All it was explaining was a guy this video. I'm sorry, that created this software. He was explaining how it worked, and he had it laid out in blocks on a diagram, and I honestly thought it was in the DMZ, but I'm not seeing anything posted. Never could interpret the maps. No, oh, okay, that's all the.
That was stock market chat.
Yeah,
that was way off topic.
Yeah,
that was a good one. It was interesting.
I thought it was around this submarine, but I'm not finding it, which is really strange. So,
Yannick was posting something of data, weather data that is drawn on a map with little tiny squares in different colors. Do you mean that one?
what was it about? No, this was software that somebody built. Somebody found this software that was. I swear it was a YouTube channel that when I clicked on. The problem is when you click on these links and you watch these videos, you watch it in Discord. It doesn't take you to the actual place that you got it from. So I think this was a YouTube video, and then there was a description in there, a slight description explaining what the software was, and then somebody responded, immediately saying, "Well, is this going to run on a Windows-based system?" And I went and looked at the software, and it said that it was a FreeBSD software. So that ain't going to run on a Windows system.
Software that analyzes light spectrum. Light spectrum.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see the. Yeah, I don't know. It was measuring the actual. It was like if you understand what JPEG does, it was explaining what JPEG does. It was literally measuring the pixel, the gamma.
Oh, is it?
Go ahead.
Host Joseph Garcia. Here's a link. It's in Software Dev. Here's a link to a YouTube presentation. Yeah, is it that one?
Yeah, is this it? Hold on. Yes, motionless video viewer. That's it. Yes.
God, you were good at finding things, George. You really are.
My forte.
So they're doing the same concept. They're measuring. Actually, I don't know. I need to watch the whole thing end to end. But my perception of it was that they were measuring either the gamma or the luminance off of each pixel and comparing them from one pixel to the next, which is what JPEG does. So that was my perception. So, anyways, that was the same in line with what I'm talking about here: zoning software.
Mm-hmm.
You can compare the zoning software or combine the zoning software with this so that you can isolate an area that you think. So let me give you my perception. Every time I've seen video of a UAP, it's usually either it's just a different color. Like it's either going to be bright white or it's going to be a very bright gray, but it's going to be contrasting enough with the background that it's going to look white of some sort. So zoning software will allow you to actually expand that so you can see in more detail. Because currently, right now, when you look at a camera, it shows you all the information at once. So you got to use software to separate it out.
Yeah.
But you change the bandwidth, the spectral bandwidth, for the whole picture, not for a particular zone within the picture.
No, you do something else. You go with such an algorithm. You go into the stretch of the dynamic range and do some sub-stretching. So the amount of intensity, the amount of pixel values stays the same, but you zoom in.
Yeah, but
that's what it does basically.
It is applied to the whole frame.
The frame you provided. If you just provide the P frame, then it's run on the P frame, but it can also run on the full frame.
Now my question is, because when you drive a camera, you set exposure, for example. So
yeah.
Exposure is already a way to, or let's say to spread the spectrum into 0 to 100 or 255 or 64,000, what have you.
Depends on the saturation limit of the chip. If you've got a 16-bit chip, it can be 65,536 at max, and you've got a better dynamic range than with just a 12-bit chip. Yeah, of course. And it depends on how much photons are transferred to an electron hole pair. And this is the quantum efficiency. And it depends what lens you use, how much light it can provide. It depends on the exposure time. With videos, you are limited in that, and it depends on the contrast stuff. If you have got an image at day or at night, and it depends on the quantum efficiency, how much you get out of it. And it depends on the hardware, if you've got a 12 or a 16-bit chip, how you can subdivide.
Yeah.
Use it in form from a range.
Yeah,
yes.
That's clear. But if you implement an kind of auto exposure feature, it already spreads your bandwidth of spectral recognition that comes into a 0 to 100% limit. So to have a black that is really black and a white point that is really white. So by already having this spread adjusted to the darkest point and to the brightest point, where is the need for image recognition to use different spectra, and even to let's say use a less spectrum? For example, if you zoom into a rainbow and just take the blues and the reds, I'll lose information. So it would help if I add more spectrum to the range to make it more
no. There are some certain times when less is more. If you just want to do an aperture analysis, do the photometry of an object, then less is more, because then you can determine the edge of an object.
Yeah, but in this case,
much better than if you've got a gradient.
Yes, Christian, but in that case, I have to know what the object is, so I have to do the recognition in the first place. Then I know where the object is, I circle in a mini aperture around it, and then apply the new spectrum to it to have it more in detail, let's say. But if you apply it to the whole frame, it's Spanish like French.
Yeah, but what Tommy mentioned is that it doesn't matter if you apply it to the whole frame. It may help find something on the whole frame, but we would use it more on the P frame than on the whole frame. But it depends on what pre-processing we are doing. But Tommy's right, yeah. We are already have that in mind for the pre-processing of the video. And there is such a software. There is such a software already in place because it was written in Python already. And we can use it. It's a complete library around that. We use it in astronomy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing now. We've been
What's
using
the name of the library?
I think it was part of the AstroPy. Concerning the photometry package of it.
Thank you.
I have stupid question. Do we have infrared range with our cameras?
Yeah, with 1.3 micrometers.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Yeah. So we do not need any FLIR cameras because they need just the back bound. They just increase the back bouncing radiation of what formerly was mid-range infrared, something that produced heat, and this back bouncing radiation is just amplified so it can be shown in the visual range of the infrared part. So what you do is you take the back bounce radiation and shift it to the photons and the wavelengths of the optical part of the infrared. That's what FLIR does. So it is not a real measurement of the heat, but it is, let's say, an interpretation of the heat.
All right. So, guys, it's almost 2 hours. I'd say if there are no any more topics open, anyone want to raise a new topic? Discuss something? Hi.
I say, Tommy, if you're interested in that stuff, let's set up a meeting next week and discuss it further.
Okay.
Because the pre-processing might be interesting for you.
Yeah. I'll jump in for sure. I got more information around the subject on what we were doing, at least on the broadcast side. It corresponds on the scientific side as well. They basically follow each other, so it's the same concepts, technology.
Okay, so let's talk about it, and I can show you what already stuff in astronomy exists to do that matter, and we can run it on a stream easily.
Okay.
Can you provide some links to this library, Christian?
Yeah, I will.
Super.
But I do not have it on hand right now.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, me too. Ditto.
So if there are no more topics to discuss for today, Christian, I'd say we wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks again, guys, and girls, sorry, for joining. Rebecca, I do not see your image. I see only a gray, so sorry.
Next week. Like I said, I did that so that way you could see that I was here the whole time. But next week I'll be ready. I'm not really prepared to be on screen today.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning, of course.
We'll call her the gray lady. She has a gray box.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for being here. And have discussions during the week. And we see you again on next Sunday.
Next Sunday.